Hi everyone, what's going on? Ashley Dash here, your favorite career branding expert. I'm super excited to talk with you guys tonight. You guys know I'm all about helping brilliant business professionals really increase your confidence and, just create the life you love, right? Because most of us spend a majority of our time at work, whether that's working from home, going to 95, going to a 9 to 5, or running our business. So I really want to make sure we're doing the best that we can, and we're super excited about what we do. We're also doing it in a way that is smarter and not harder, because I'm all about ease, right? So I want things to be easy, like as easy as possible. So today we're going to talk about the 3 career secrets from the Branding Vault. I get questions all the time about personal brands, professional brands, career brands, and I really wanted to boil down to 3 things that you guys really, really need to know in terms of moving forward powerfully to brand your business and be really successful at work, okay? So the first thing you need to have in terms of moving forward in your career is what I call knowing yourself. They say know thyself, right? Because your values are going to help move you forward towards your career. And it's really important that you take the time to understand who you are as a person, what's important to you, because that will help filter the job opportunities that you accept or that you go on interviews for. A lot of times I have clients who get opportunities from a variety of sources, but sometimes it's not even worth the effort for them to actually go on an interview because we know it's not a match because of their value. So you have to know what your values are. You need to be very clear about what your value system that you have in place is so that you can move forward powerfully. Amen. Yes, to their own self be true, right? So when we're talking about values, I'm talking about things that are really important to you, things that make up who you are as a person, and things that we know aren't going to change more than likely, or things that are not going away. So for example, I place a very high value on information, right? I am a super duper nerd researcher. I ask a lot of questions. So any company that I go to work for, any project that I take on, is really important for me to know that they value information, that collaboration is a part of the culture. Asking questions isn't something that's frowned upon, because if I accept a position or a role, knowing that they don't value information, I'm going to suffer from day one, because that's who I am as a person. That's something that I value, right? I value learning, certifications, and education. So any company that I work for needs to have a higher value. It doesn't have to be the highest value, but they should place a high value on education, because I know that's something that I'm going to want to do. I'm going to want to take a class, take a course, talk about what I've learned, share information, and knowing this information up front will help filter the organizations that I know that's not a fit for. That doesn't mean that I'm horrible, and it also doesn't mean that the company is horrible. It just means that we value different things. And instead of trying to force, a square peg into a round hole, let's just go to these amazing companies that exist that are a match for our values, right? Because when you're having conversations and you're interviewing and you're learning about these companies and just working, when you're being yourself and really going with who you are and what you value, you don't really have to work at anything. You don't have to become something you're not. You don't have to be afraid to share your thoughts or feelings or emotions, right? It's just easy to work in that environment. That's because you have found a company whose value matches your own. That means you guys are aligned, okay? So that's the very first secret from the Branding Vault. A lot of people are saying, hey, Ashley, like that's how does that doesn't really make sense. Like that's not like a branding secret. And the interesting thing about branding is it's not about, marketing strategies and these little quick things that we can do to make things work. There's lots of strategies that we can do, and I share them with my clients. But a lot of times, if we really just be brilliant at who we are, if we just show up as the amazing people that we are and stop fighting, our own authenticity, life will become easier. And that's what branding is all about. It's not about changing you. It's about polishing and showcasing the person that you really are. So one of the secrets from the vault really is knowing your values, knowing your value system, to thine own self be true, understanding who you are and what companies, what organizations, what management style works best for you, so that you can just walk into the company and love what you do while you're at work, instead of constantly fighting over and over again, pushing upstream against things that fight against your nature, because your values are essentially who you are as a person. And for the most part, it doesn't change, right? Our values don't change, for us. Most of the times, our values are our values, okay? So the first secret from the Branding Vault is knowing yourself and understanding your values and making sure that you're accepting projects, going on interviews, working with companies that align with your values. Now, that doesn't mean that everything's going to be 100%, equal every single time, but for the most part, make sure that there's alignment, okay? So, for example, I value information. I need to make sure that I go for companies that value curiosity. They're not scared. They're not afraid to ask questions. They value education and professional development. That's where I'm going to thrive naturally, right? I'm not fighting against something that I'm not, as opposed to another company that doesn't place a high value on those things. Again, doesn't make the company bad. Let's just make our lives easier, right? Let's go with what we already know, right? That's the first secret from the Branding Vault, okay? The second secret from the Branding Vault is confidence. Okay, guys? Now, I know this is kind of strange to hear. However, confidence is key. I am 100% convinced that you could probably be the worst candidate for the position. But if you come in with the right confidence, right, you can sway people's minds. You can make a difference in people's decisions, how they perceive you, how they move forward with the interview process with you, if they accept a project with you or not, all because of your confidence, right? Because if you don't believe in you, who's going to believe in you, right? And this goes back to the first secret from the vault. If you know who you are, right, if you know your values, you can be confident to move forward. You don't have to second guess yourself, right? You don't have to figure out what they want. You can show up authentically you and be confident in who you are. Not afraid that you're going to intimidate somebody, that they're going to call you aggressive, that they're going to say you're not the right fit, because you are confident in who you are and your values and the company values align, right? It's just super simple. But I have been in so many organizations and I've been with so many hiring managers when I realized that the reason why we were having so many issues is not that I was a horrible worker or they were a horrible boss. We just had two different value systems. What we valued were different, right? And that's why there's so much friction. That's why there was so much conflict, right? And I have learned it's not about being a good person or a bad person. It's about understanding who I am, what I bring to the table, and what works best for me. And that's what I want to communicate to you guys, right? The second secret from the Branding Vault is confidence. And this has nothing to do with saying, you know what? I know everything. I'm not saying that you know everything, right? But what do you know? What are you confident in? What's your value system? What does that look like, right? That's going to show through in casual conversations, whether you're intending that to happen or not, right? So I have a very high value on career development and professional development, right? And information, right? I am very confident in my ability to help people move forward in their careers. That's not something that someone had to tell me or teach me or something that, I question. Is something that I know. I'm very confident in that. So when people have conversations with me about careers, they can feel that confidence. They know that I can help them. They may have never even interacted with me except this one time, but they leave saying, wow, she really knows her stuff. She's really passionate about what she does. They know that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to career development. And that is really what makes a difference in interviews, when you're going through for projects, when you're doing public speaking, when you're writing, when you're doing all these amazing things, you're confident in your skills and in your ability, right? That is the key. I show up and say, hey, it doesn't really matter if anybody else in this room knows that I'm the person for career development. They may not know, but when they leave, they're like, wow, having a conversation with her was so powerful. I didn't know this about myself. I didn't know you could do that with a career. I didn't know, right? My job is to educate, right? Which goes back to my value system. And when I show up confidently, all of that shows through. It shines through whether I intend that to happen or not. It's why a lot of my friends accidentally get career coach. It's not that I'm trying to do it. It's just who I am as a person. So instead of fighting it, I work with it. Okay, we have a question. Jai says, confidence is key, but how do you stop it from being perceived as arrogance? I think I'm being looked at in the right light, and that's not the aim. Okay, so I get this question all the time. I actually got this past weekend at the when I was in 4-H speaking engagement. And here's the thing. okay? First things first, it depends on where it's at, right? So look, when we talk about being arrogant, a lot of people have questions about your resume, okay? So it's very difficult to be arrogant in black and white, okay? So if you're awesome and you have all these amazing things in your portfolio on your resume, keep them there. You can't help you're awesome. That's just what it is, right? What most people think in terms of confidence is it's more of a tonal thing, right? It's more about how you say things, and that's more of a leadership communication strategy. So here's the thing. It's very difficult to assess that without actually having an assessment. So what you would really need to do is really have conversations or have mock interviews and have conversations with people that you know, like, and trust, or people like me. What I do with my clients is we actually record you. So I record my clients. We do a job interview. I bring somebody else on and we record them. We ask them questions about their successes and see how they sound. We see what they say, and then we do a playback. Then we review it, and then I say, hey, this kind of sounded like that can be perceived as like braggadocious, right? But most people in America, I'm gonna say, especially women, most of us never get to the brag part. We think we're bragging, but in essence, we're just telling our truth, right? So that's something that you do have to be careful of verbally, because there is a tone thing that we can deal with, but there's leadership communication strategies that we can do to fix that. Before, of course, we have to have that assessed first. So if you've never been told that before, then more than likely that's not an issue. If you've been told that several times, then we definitely need to get you recorded so you can hear how you sound, so that we can work to fix that tone issue, so that you're not coming across as overconfident and being that person that nobody wants to talk about. Right? So I hope that answered your question, Jessica. If not, put another comment section down here and I'll make sure I get to that. But most of us were taught that we need to be humble, right? That we need to not be, all this extra, right? We don't want to be like that person, right? So most of my clients, at least, they don't come across very braggadocious. They don't come across very arrogant, because I actually have to unteach them to be humble, to say, hey, this isn't about being thinking lowly of yourselves or thinking highly of yourself. This is just highlighting your experiences. This is just sharing how awesome you are and sharing what you do, right? Because there's a difference. All right. All right, and the final secret from the branding vault is my favorite, and that is networking. Okay, now I know some of you have like this internal groan, like, I hate networking. Okay, I get it, I understand it. No one wants to be like, the uncomfortable, person talking to strangers. I get it, but as you guys always know, I hate the word networking, and I really want to focus on relationship building. Okay, because relationships are the key to your brand. All right, I'm gonna say that again and slow it down, because I really want you guys to hear this and understand it. All right, relationships are the key to your brand. Okay, it makes life so much easier, right? You guys know I'm a career branding expert, and I love what I do, and I'm excited about it. But the key to my success has been my relationships, right? Yes, I have a website. Yes, I have all these wonderful things that I've done, but my relationships have been the things that have got me public speaking engagements, have gotten me clients, have allowed me to share my expertise with the world, right? And that's what's going to continue to help me move forward, right? So your network, your relationships are the key. It doesn't matter if you have a wonderful value system. It doesn't matter if you know how to share your information in a way that's awesome, you're confident, if no one knows you. Right? If you're not known, if people aren't comfortable referring you, right? Like, that's really, really the key. And moving forward is you have to show up in a way that people know you, they respect you, you have credibility, they can refer you, and you can build that trust and say, hey, you know what? She's an awesome person. I would love to have her on my team. Or, you know what? He's great. How much money do we have to pay him to bring him over to our side, because he could be an asset to our organization, right? And networking makes that conversation easier, because instead of having to go through a resume, right, you have to go online and apply, you have to go through a recruiter, you got to talk to an HR generalist, you have to schedule something. Someone can pick up the phone and say, hey, there's an opportunity that I think you'd be great at. Your name popped over. I'm going to give the hiring manager your number. They're going to give you a call. right? Who would rather not have that conversation as opposed to the, I'm going to apply for this position. Now they've responded. Now I have to figure out a time from work. Then I have to get off work and go in person and interview and go through all these motions. Wouldn't most of us rather just have a phone call, say, hey, I know this really cool position. I put your name in the hat. They're calling you at 3. Who doesn't want that, right? That's what networking, that's what relationship building really, really can help you do. And we have a question. The question is, how do introverts network? So introverts network one at a time, just like everybody else, okay? And I actually think introverts, to be honest, might have a easier, better advantage in networking and relationship building because they don't want to talk to a lot of people. And most of the time when introverts do talk to people, they're very like focused. They're very like one, like they really build relationships, really build, I call it meaningful relationships. I'm an extrovert, right? So I can talk to like 1,000 people in a room. Like, hi guys, what's going on? Like, I could be like that social butterfly. But sometimes that doesn't leave the opportunity for meaningful interactions, right? It doesn't leave me the opportunity to really learn about someone else on a really deep level. And we all know that when you make connections, deep connections, they last longer. There's more of an impact, right? You probably said something or heard something in a way that makes me think, you know what? I want to have this person connected to me. You know what? I love talking with them. I want to just, keep them in my Rolodex. Maybe we don't chat every day, but every once in a while, there's an article that I think that might be interesting. I'm just going to share it, right? That's relationship building. And that's the benefit that a lot of introverts have in terms of networking. If you find the one person, right? If there's like a party or an event or a conference and you find one person and you build really strong relationships with that one person, that's much, much stronger and much, much more beneficial than someone like me who will meet like 30 people in a conference, but then I have to remember who is who. I have all these business cards. I didn't really make that deep, meaningful connection, right? So introverts connect authentically, right? Just like extroverts. And the way you actually do that is by building relationships. And the easiest way to build a relationship is to find a common interest. And you guys who've been with me for a while know I use this example all the time. And I really do feel like a lot of things that we needed to learn, we learned in kindergarten, right? So in kindergarten, there was no pressure. You went to find people, you went to go find friends based on things that are really super simple and in some ways superficial. For example, I have a purple juice box. You know what? You have a purple juice box. Let's be friends. Let's talk about how awesome these purple juice boxes are. Or you know what? I have a unicorn t-shirt. You love unicorns. Let's have a conversation about unicorns and My Little Pony, right? The same thing happens, except as adults, for some reason, we get really weird and we just feel like that's not enough, right? You know what? Sports is a common interest. The weather, horrible traffic, being at a conference with the same subject matter. Like these are all very simple ways to engage and have conversations. I kind of think it's kind of easier for women in a way to have these conversations. Like you say, oh girl, I love those shoes. I love that bag, the earrings. Like you can just give compliments, but not in a way that's disingenuous, right? So if you don't mean it, like don't say it. That's also part of relationship building. You have to be really honest, right? If you hate the lady's bag, don't tell her she has a cute bag, right? Most of us can sniff out people who are trying to be fake. But if you're really being honest and open and authentic, a lot of people can understand and relate to that. And it'd be very fine to have an open conversation because they're probably having the same thoughts in their head that you're having in mind. Like, oh my gosh, who am I going to talk to? How's this going to work? I don't really know how to start this conversation. Like we all are having these internal dialogues in our heads, but on the outside we look very cool, calm, and collected, right? But I always love when someone comes up and engages me in a conversation because that means like, oh, I have someone to talk to. I have a new friend, right? Even if I only have a friend for 5 minutes, I never know what the journey of building a relationship is going to begin or end, right? I've talked to people that I was sure that they will be my life forever, and I never talk to them anymore. And there are some people that I met at a conference and we talked 5 minutes and we still talk today, right? You never know. So you really just have to be open to the process. We have another comment. What an awesome way to reframe that. When I network, I always end up discussing the job, then family history. Yeah, like I feel like parents, you guys can just connect because you guys just know, like, parenting is just a thing, right? You guys understand each other. You have your own language. Like, just be yourself. Don't try to force anything. And I think that's a problem with the networking is that we're trying to force things, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. No one wants the forced conversation. Just let it be natural. And sometimes you will go up to someone and maybe they're not the nicest person and they're rude. That's fine. That's their issue. That's not yours. So you move on to the next person. Or maybe you have a conversation that kind of ebbs and flows and just isn't still natural. It's okay. move on to someone else. It's not that big a deal, guys. We don't have to put so much pressure on ourselves, okay? So just to recap, the 3 career secrets from the Branding Vault. And I know it sounds really weird because these aren't really branding. You guys only think of branding strategies, but these are so important in terms of building your brand. The very first thing that you need to have in your Branding Vault is knowing your values and your values system. This will help guide you in your career and making decisions and accepting promotions and moving across the country and getting more money. Like, your values will guide you. And when you're very clear about what they are and how you show up, it will be amazing. It will be like a night and day difference. You will accept opportunities that you will find opportunities that you didn't know existed. And you would say no to opportunities that maybe 3 or 4 months ago you would have screamed at because you know it's not the right fit for your values, right? The second secret from the Branding Vault is confidence. You have to know that you're awesome. You have to know that you're brilliant. You have not been on this planet for as long as you have and haven't learned something, okay? Whether that's through education, through experience, through jobs, through internships. It doesn't matter how you got the experience. It doesn't matter where it came from. You just know that you're brilliant, right? And if you're not confident in your ability, that shows, and that can definitely hurt your brand. You can say all the right things, but if you don't mean it, then it doesn't matter, right? And then the third secret from the Career Vault is networking. Like I like to say, relationship building, okay? It's really important that not you know other people, but that other people know you, right? That is the way the world works, and that is actually the best part about networking, and that you kind of get to go through all that. You can cut through the traffic, you can cut through the bull. You don't have to worry about going through traditional processes. You can send an email, you can make a phone call, right? And like, the world moves, the world changes, right? And I have clients now that's what they do. They don't have to apply for jobs. They have a network that's really robust that they've spent time, nurturing and, and building. And then they can make a phone call and say, hey, I'm ready for something else. What do you guys know? What's available? And all these opportunities just kind of pop up that they didn't have to go to like Indeed.com to find. Now, I love Indeed.com and all the other websites, but there's other ways to do it. There's multiple strategies that you should be using in your job search. Ashley says, it's so important to fully believe in what you're doing and desiring to do it. Yes, like, you have to do it. Most people who talk to me, like, you're really, really into career. I am. I'm a nerd for it. I love it. I think it's cool, but I'm passionate about it, and people can see that. People can sense that. And that's the same thing with you. People can sense that, oh, they're really passionate about this. Oh, she's going to go above and beyond, not because we're paying her to, because that's who she is and that's what she loves to do. And she's just going to research because she thinks it's a cool thing to do, right? And you have to be okay with it. For a long time, I thought it was weird that I was the career person. Like, who wants to be the career nerd? Until I just embraced it. And as soon as I embraced it, all these opportunities kind of popped up. Say, hey, I need help with the careers. Hey, I need a career coach. Hey, can you help me with the resume? And I was like, sure. Like, it was the coolest thing. You have to be okay with it. Ashley says, I have a bad habit of downplaying all that I do. You know what? It's so easy to do that because we've been drilled. It's been drilled in our head since we're little, right? Like, you always have to be polite. You have to use your best manners. You shouldn't be more than you are. Like, we just have all of these, these, I call it, conversations in our head of things that we were taught because we wanted to be polite. And our parents, they did the right thing. They want us to be respectful adults. They want us to be, contribute to society, and that's wonderful. But sometimes to our detriment, we took it too far where we are now afraid to share the cool things that we do because we feel like we're bragging, as opposed to saying, hey, this is my gift to the world. Isn't this cool? Right? Now that, oh, I'm better than you because I can do this. I don't think I'm better than anybody because I can do an awesome resume or have job search strategies. That doesn't make me special or different. I just think it's really, really cool, right? Like, I think it's really cool. And I think people who need that find it helpful. They're like, yes, I've been looking for someone like you. And the same thing happens for your gifts, right? I have things that I'm horrible at that I struggle with, right? And I'm so thankful and I feel so blessed when people with those skills pop up and say, you know what, I can do that. Or, you know what, I can help you with that. Or, you know what, here's an easier way to do it, right? It's just, we have to get to the mindset of we're not bragging. And I always say, you can't brag really if it's true. Like, I mean, we talk about, you kind of go into like, the hater, like there's haters, like not everybody's your hater, right? Let's clear that up. But there's some people that maybe aren't as excited for you, and you're not going to work for those people or want to be with them anyways, right? Most of us have done really cool, amazing things. Why should we downplay that when people need our help? If I didn't talk about resumes and careers and job search strategies, how would you know that that's what I do and that I could help you? Like, how could I prove to you that I can do these things if I didn't talk about my client success, about my success, right? It's not about saying, oh, I'm better than you guys because we're Mercedes-Benz. Like, no, I was unemployed and I use job search strategies to get my job at Mercedes-Benz. Let me show you how, right? It's all about how you say it and how you play it and the basis of where it comes from. Some people do sound very braggadocious and arrogant because they do think they're better than people. But normally those aren't my clients. Normally my clients, the people that I work with, we have to undo that damage and say, hey, you're awesome. Let's share how awesome you are, right? Let's talk about those job search strategies. Okay, I don't have time to talk about job search strategies, but I can definitely talk about job search strategies tomorrow if that's what you guys want to talk about. All right. I have another comment that says, hey, Ashley, I do too. I don't take compliments well. I had a situation today where those things went unnoticed and was seen as me showing off, and I was just doing what needed to be done. So here's the thing. I think compliments are amazing. That's just like, I feel like the world saying, you know what? I see that you're being awesome. Right? And I'm going to just recognize that, right? It's kind of like saying, when your kids are something really cool, you recognize that. You think it's really cool. You don't think your kid is showing off. You think your kid is, oh, wow, your kid can do this, right? For people who think you're showing off, more than likely, a couple things could be happening. They could be intimidated by what you do naturally, for maybe, it makes them uncomfortable for some reason. And here's the thing. I have learned to at least attempt. I can't say I do it all the time, to be in full transparency, but I have learned to not try to figure out why people are upset with me so much if they feel like I'm showing off, or if I'm doing things, that other people perceive as, showy or braggadocious, right? More than likely, even if I were to try and understand where they're coming from, we wouldn't agree. Right? Because the people that really know me and know my heart and know how I show up and know my work ethic, they know my intention is never to brag, it's never to boast, it's always to help, right? And most people who are looking for people who are showing off are looking for a reason to not be happy in life or not be happy with you, right? And they're not looking in terms of you, let's say, helping someone or getting the job done. Right? So again, if it's like a one person or it's one person consistently, to be honest, I wouldn't think of it as that big a deal, right? I would just learn to deal with it and move forward. And there's definitely strategies to deal with that. Now, if multiple people have said it, then there is an issue that we probably do need to identify that maybe you're not aware of. Maybe you have a blind eye to that we can definitely look at and fix, right? But again, for the most part, those aren't my clients. Like most of my clients, I'm like, turn it up, let them know. This is what we do, right? This is, look, on my campus, on Dash's campus, we are brilliant business people and we show up authentically and awesomely, and this is what we do, right? And this is why you should hire me, pay me more money, get me on this project, because if I have other offers and I can leave, right? And that's not lying, it's not showing off, it's the truth. If you have multiple job offers in your email box, that's not showing off, that's saying, hey, that's being honest. Look, I would love to work with your organization. I have other organizations that are also interested in me. Can we have a conversation? Is there a timing thing? And there's ways to address every single thing, right? It's just all in how you say it, right? All right, guys. So those are the 3 career secrets from the Branding Vault. I am super excited that you guys are here with me today. If you have any questions, definitely put them in the comment section below and I will get to them as soon as possible. Until next time, this is Ashley Dash, your favorite career branding expert. All right, guys. Until next time, love you later. Bye.